Well, welcome to Debbie's Back Porch. So glad to have you with us again. Tonight we're going to make shrimp pasta salad. And it's a great, cool summertime supper. Very little cooking and you can make it the day before. So here is the recipe or the ingredients. Please pause and write them down. And hey, if you watch and enjoy our videos, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. We appreciate it. Well, we're going to start with the dressing, and this is quick and easy, and you can do it the night before. You can make the whole thing the night before. Actually, it would be better. Then you can come home and just have a quick dinner. So that was 3/4 cup mayonnaise. This is a 1/4 cup chopped pickles. You can use any pickles you like. These are dill, but you can use sweet pickle relish if you like. And then we're going to add 2 ounces, a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. You can use any acid. You can use lemon juice. You can use regular vinegar. I like red wine. This is 2 ounces, 1/4 cup of my homemade ketchup. You could use any ketchup. We're going for kind of a Louis dressing, and so ketchup is a big part of that. 2 ounces of creamy horseradish. If you're using just regular prepared horseradish, use a lot less, like 1 tablespoonful. This is mild. 1/2 cup of chopped onions. I'm using fresh green onions. Shallots are fine, and purple onions are beautiful. 1 stalk of celery, finely minced. And then a couple ounces of finely minced red pepper. You can use any pepper you like. You can use more. You can use hot. I like sweet red pepper. Then about a 1/4 teaspoonful of red pepper flakes. You can use black pepper, but red pepper flakes are so much prettier. And I'm going with about 1/8 teaspoonful of salt. We'll taste this for salt again after everything is chilled, but we'll add a little bit right now. And stir, 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 and then give it a little taste. Now, as I said, your salt won't be right yet. You wait and test that after everything's at the same temperature. But you may want more horseradish, more onions. I want a little bit more ketchup. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Louis salads, but they're a great seafood salad. And the horseradish and the tomato flavor just pair well with shrimp and crab. And we're going for something like that here. So going to mix it all up well. And then we're going to cover it and refrigerate it for at least an hour. Overnight's fine. As always, you want to put your film right on top of any mayonnaise-based food, dressing, whatever, and that'll keep a skim from forming. So in the refrigerator, and then we're going to move on to the shrimp. Big pot of water boiling, teaspoonful of salt. Squeeze in the juice of 1/2 a lemon for flavor and texture. And I have here a pound of deveined, not peeled, shrimp. They were frozen. I thawed them out, but you should devein them before you cook them. Pour them into the hot water, to the boiling water, and we're going to wait till it comes back to a boil. And as soon as it comes back to a good simmer, cover it, turn the heat off. Set your timer for 3 minutes unless you have huge shrimp, and then you want to go about 5. These were 3140 count. That's a medium shrimp. And you see they're done. They're nice and pink, and they won't be overdone if you do it this way. They don't really need to boil. And you never want overcooked shrimp or undercooked potatoes. So we want to stop that cooking process right away. So I'm filling the bowl full of ice. You see they're still steaming. They would keep cooking. So I'm going to cover this with ice and then stick the whole thing in the fridge. And we're not going to do anything with them until they're well chilled. And then I'll peel them and I'll check to make sure they're properly deveined. Now on to the pasta. A heaping teaspoonful of salt into a big pot of water. Salt's very important in cooking pasta. This is a 12-ounce box of pasta, and I've gone for the garden veggie rotini type pasta, but anything works. I like these. They make me feel healthier, whether they are or not. But elbows work just fine, whatever you like. Penne is good. We're going to give it a really good stir to make sure it doesn't stick. When it comes back to a boil, we'll set our timer for whatever the package says. And for a salad, you want to cook your pasta done. And give it a couple good stirs while it's cooking. We don't use oil, so we just stir it and then it doesn't stick. When it's done, drain it well. Do not run cold water over this. And stir it a little bit to make sure you get all the water out. Now we're going to let this cool to room temperature before we add a mayonnaise-based dressing to it. It just will turn to oily mush if you add it now. And cold water will wash away the starch, so we're going to chill it on ice. So for a couple of minutes, we're going to give it a stir every once in a while to make sure all the water has drained off. So then into a bowl, and the bowl in ice, and we'll stir this around every 4 or 5 minutes to make sure it all comes in contact with the outside of the bowl where the ice is. And cooling it this way gives you nice separate pasta and allows the starch to form on the outside of the pasta, and the starch holds your dressing. And so I'll come back and give it a stir every once in a while to keep it separate. It's in your fridge, but then you have to open your fridge about every 4 minutes and give it a stir, or you have a big lump. Now this is at room temperature, and it should stick to your hands and feel tacky. And when it gets to that stage, we're ready to finish our salad. So I dumped the ice, dried my bowl, and put the pasta in the big bowl for mixing. And we're going to add this dressing that's been thoroughly chilled, at least an hour. Overnight's okay. Not too much dressing. If you have a pound box of pasta, by the way, use a full cup of mayonnaise. And we may add some more mayonnaise later. Then we add our thoroughly chilled shrimp. And you know, you could make this with crab instead. The claw meat would be wonderful, and it's already cooked. The mixture of shrimp and crab is just wonderful. When everything's thoroughly mixed, we're going to add our plastic film, again, down on the shrimp. And this needs to be refrigerated for at least an hour. And overnight is better. I like to make this in the evening when the kitchen is cooler, and then have it for dinner the next night. So here we are, a couple hours later. We want to stir this up. We're going to check it to see if it's still creamy. Sometimes when you chill it overnight, it soaks up a lot of the mayo and you have to add a little. But I think we're fine on the creaminess here. So let's give it a taste. Now that everything's at the same temperature, you can get a better taste for the saltiness and for the spiciness. I'm going to add a little more salt, and you know, if you want it a little bit zestier, you can add some cayenne. You could add a little more horseradish. This is really just good for us. I'm going to maybe add a little more red pepper, and I think just for the look of it, I'm going to add a little parsley. And you know, a little cilantro is good. Very good would be about a teaspoonful of dill seeds. You can spice this up the way you like. Dill is really good in this and always goes well with any seafood. You can also brighten it up a bit with an extra squeeze of lemon. These are all things that are up to you. Now I'm going to plate this up and show you what we got. And you know, what we have is something really, really special. I've added a few ripe tomatoes. I've added a little slice of melon. I don't know how you could want anything better for your supper on a hot summer evening. And the shrimp, you know, nothing's worse than overcooked shrimp. These are not overcooked. These are perfect. And I do think most people overcook the shrimp. The pasta is perfect. This has a brightness and just a little bit of tingle to your tongue, not too hot. If you want really hot, you can make it really hot. I'm enjoying this for dinner. I hope you enjoy it for dinner soon. Thank you for joining us on Debbie's Back Porch. I hope to see you again tomorrow. And you know, this makes me think for tomorrow, maybe ceviche.